Hello, my name is Samantha Robinson. I will be doing an evaluation on a survey of an article about a survey that was conducted entitled Project-Based Learning in Calculating Soft Skills in the 21st Century Workplace. Our title clearly identifies what the article or what the survey is about. In our abstract, according to Margaret L. Patton and Michelle Newhart in a textbook entitled Understanding Research Method, our abstract left out some valuable information which would have included the method used, the measures, and the participants. Our introduction and literature review clearly identified the research problem, which was that our students that are graduating from the Malaysian University in Malaysia are lacking necessary soft skills, which include being able to communicate via computer technology, being able to problem solve, and various other soft skills. The survey also mentioned the statistics that over 77% of those students graduating from that university like these necessary soft skills, but that was the extent of the statistics that were used in the literature introduction and the literature review. The research article also mentioned some other research that was done. One of the research they mentioned was one by the Deering Report by Nietzsche in 1997, which states that students that are participating in higher education or higher learning environments should be able to enter the workforce. And then a research done by Arne Duncan, the U.S. Secretary of Education, in 2009 says the skills needed for equip students to be creative, have perseverance, the ability to problem solve, and to work together as a team. And so between these two research, they're saying that our students or these students that are graduating from this university are lacking these necessary skills when they enter the workforce. The introduction and the literature review had several citation problems, and one of the citation problems they had is mentioned M. York. In the reference, you see that he is mentioned as M. York, but in the text of the article, York is just written out, and then there is in parentheses the date of 1997, and so the reader could not correlate whether or not this information referred to information written by York in that year or that was a year and someone else had written an article at that time period. And so there were some areas with the citation. Also in the citation, there were several areas where there were page numbers mentioned in parentheses, but there was no link to where those page numbers came from or any article or author. There were information where there was in-text citation and no reference page mention of those in-text citations and vice versa. There was a clear synthesis between the introduction and the literature review, correlating the what the article was about, talking about the necessary soft skills, and they mentioned several areas where those soft skills were. It did identify the study's purpose, which is to conduct a survey identifying these necessary soft skills and getting the students to work together on the project and helping them to develop these necessary soft skills. There is a method in which research is done. And so in our method, there was mentioned the participants and how the participants chosen. So the participants were second year students at the University in Malaysia. They also were enrolled in the workforce communication classes, and they were taking these classes on the instructors that were part of the Faculty of Information Technology. And the students were randomly chosen from various social and cultural backgrounds, which included Malaysian, Chinese, Sabah, and Sarawak people. It was a random sample type of measurements or a quantitative study, and it used called a Likert questionnaire. And so it gave you a clear idea of the measure used, and it used numbering 1 through 5 to give the reader an identification of how was this questionnaire ranked, and 1 being strongly disagree and 5 being strongly agree. And it used various areas that it identified in its survey. The survey was conducted in a 14-week study, and at the end of the 14-week study, the students were they were expected to do a presentation of what they learned in this work-based project. The results of the survey shows that the project was effective, because after the project was done and when they did their presentation, it showed that the students demonstrated active listening, They were able to ask questions during their project working together. They were able to brainstorm, make suggestions. They were learned to write and send emails in a professional environment and identify problems working together. They still lack some areas of interpersonal skills. The survey did have a discussion about a compared and contrast the areas of the results and identify the limitations of the study. And some of the limitations of the study included that, in fact, what the survey stated in the literature, that some of the limitation, that it did not say whether or not the students were traditional college students. That would be a limitation that I would see in the study, that I couldn't tell if these students were first-time college students or they were returning college students, which could make a big difference in the work environment. And so that is a limitation that I would recommend that the study would have looked at. For future references, this study could be used in companies that employers can use to train their employees, especially employees who have never went through training such as a learning-based workforce project, that they can learn to work together and maybe be more efficient at their job and be more productive for the company. So thank you. That is my evaluation of this article, which entitled Project-Based Learning and Calculating Soft Skills in the 21st Century. Thank you.